Hello guys, I welcome you all again back to my channel. In today's video, I will be bringing to you the latest on immigration reforms with regards to the new conservative government that was formed recently by Liz Truss, the current Prime Minister, and my opinion on what I think people coming to the UK to study and eventually settling should do. Though there have been some twists and turns since she took over office, and all of that will be discussed here in this video as we go along. So sit back, relax, and watch me dig into it. If you are a keen follower of events happening within the polity, the UK government is preparing to increase immigration to fill in job vacancies and boost economic growth. The current Prime Minister, who up until Thursday, the 20th of October, resigned her position as the Prime Minister, has got plans to increase the number of workers allowed to enter the UK. Having said that, there is a strong indication that the government will lift the cap on seasonal agricultural workers and broadband engineers, and also make changes to the shortage occupation list, which they hope will allow the key sectors to recruit more overseas staff. In this light, the Prime Minister had made a pledge to make full fibre broadband available to 85% of UK homes by 2025. It has also been said that she could ease the English language requirement in some sectors to enable more foreign workers to qualify for visa. Though this proposal is being met with stiff opposition, as some conservative members are baffled by any softening of immigration rules. Consequently, some ministers are also discussing whether to allow in more highly educated workers from across the globe, and this will include a proposal for a new visa for workers who have graduated from one of the top 50 or top 100 global universities. In the last 1 month, about 2 million UK job vacancies were advertised, with social care sector trying to fill about 105,000 posts. There is also a shortage of 40,000 nurses and about 100,000 heavy goods vehicles drivers. And also the farming industry has called for an extra 30,000 visas for seasonal workers. Well, the former Chancellor, Mr. Kwesi Kwarteng, who has now been relieved of his duty due to his abysmal performance, which led to near strangulation of the country's economy, had announced that a new plan will be published in the coming weeks to ensure the immigration system supports growth while maintaining control. If you recall, the Conservative government recently started giving out post-study visas to students who graduated from the universities in the UK. Not only that, students are also allowed to move over with their partners and dependents to the UK. The idea behind this is that it is expected that the partners and the dependents of these students should be professionally inclined in order to fill up some of the job vacancies experienced in the country. But from what is going on right now, and from the speeches made by the former Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, who also resigned from her position, this has not been the case. In fact, what the country is experiencing, according to her, is too many low-skilled workers coming to the country and a very high number of students who have a very high number of dependents. As it stands today, there are about 1.8 million non-EU nationals working in Britain today, and out of that number, about 320,000 was more than 1 year ago, and this is according to the Office of the National Statistics UK. Again, Home Office figures show that the number of visas given out by Home Office to all workers, students and their relatives, both EU and non-EU, has risen by more than 80% in a year to more than 1.1, the largest number on record. For those who have been following the changes in immigration laws, in January 2021, for a non-British worker to qualify for sponsorship, most workers must be paid at least $25,600 a year, and this has caused problems in sectors such as agriculture, hospitality, and some manufacturing where low wages are common. Having said that, the number of EU workers who are currently in the UK have fallen since they left the EU, but this has been offset by an increase in the number of non-EU workers, especially from China, India, and Nigeria respectively as the top three. A quick check on UK international student statistics conducted by Eridera, an education search platform, shows that the United Kingdom is the second country with the most international students in the world, gathering over 500,000 as of 2022 statistics. If you look at the numbers, China tops the chart with 143,820, followed by India with 84,555, then Nigeria coming in the third position with about 21,305 amongst others. And most of these students often come with their partners and dependents, which most times are professionally not suitable to fill up the vast vacancies in the areas needed to be filled. This has been the bone of contention since the new Prime Minister took over power from former Prime Minister Boris Johnson sometime last year. Oh, lest I forget, Liz Truss, the current Prime Minister, has also resigned her position, but still hanging on there until the next Prime Minister is announced. Since she formed her cabinet, it has been resignation upon resignation, and this hasn't been the best of times for her. As bad as this may sound, the Prime Minister is looking to make changes to the shortage occupation list order to allow industries to bring in more staff. Though the former Home Secretary, Ms. Braverman, wanted to keep immigration numbers tightly controlled, but many cabinet colleagues of hers wanted it relaxed to help employers fill their near 1.2 million vacancies and to get the economy moving. Though Ms. Braverman's argument for wanting to control immigration is that the country has a large cohort who can work but are not working, and they are doing that out of choice in many cases. She believes that there are people who are choosing early retirement, especially those in their 50s who are not working, and their numbers have considerably increased. She thinks that those people in that bracket can be gainfully employed rather than staying at home. Well, in all of this, what is my take? I would say that intending students should be aware that the reason for coming to the UK is solely for study purposes. And if your idea of coming is to move over with your family, which is not a bad idea, then you should have a rethink as regards what to bring to the table in terms of the sort of job your partner is into. It is pertinent for you or your partner to at least have one of the skills mentioned in the occupation list in order to make things easier for yourself. I know that most students who happen to get a study visa, in some cases, do not have the financial muscle to complete their programs, hence the reason for coming with a dependent who is allowed to work full-time in order to help in sorting out bills and school fees while they study. One thing you have to remember is that when you were making your application, you acknowledged that you were capable of supporting yourselves through school, and on that premise, your visa was issued. So at any point in time, you are not able to fulfill this part of the agreement, you are likely to be delisted from your school's sponsorship list, as your school serves as your sponsor and will likely report you to the Home Office, and you could be deported or sent back home for breaking the law. In addition to this, if you have been following the events happening in the UK as regards the economy, you could see that the government is battling to stabilize the economy, and it will be foolhardy for any individual to think that they are going to have their way regardless of the situation. Things are bad right now, and the implementation of any new legislation could see the possibility of tightening some of these relaxed and favorable policies, and also a likelihood of removing a post-study visa for students and amending the law that allows students to come in with their partners and dependents. This is just my view, and the reason I say this is because immigration reform has been on the front burner of discussion since Liz Truss, the Prime Minister, took over power last month. Well, now that she has stepped aside, who knows what the next Prime Minister will bring into the table with regards to immigration reforms. Finally, as a student, I would say that if your mission is to remain in the UK after your program, then you had better go through a different route, for instance, looking for a job in one of these areas mentioned earlier. You never know, that may be easier and quicker for you rather than spending so much money you could barely afford, and at the end of the day, you are likely not to complete your program, and this may likely jeopardize your chances of having a permanent stay. This is my candid opinion. Oh, by the way, a new Prime Minister has just been announced a couple of hours ago in the person of Rishi Sunak, the former Chancellor under former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, to take over the reins of government from Liz Truss. Wow, what can I say? UK has changed 3 Prime Ministers in 1 year, and the implication of this is that each Prime Minister comes with his or her own immigration policies. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed, believing that the new PM will do a lot better than the previous ones. And with that being said, I say good luck to everyone who is genuinely striving to make it over for a better living. Thanks for watching my videos as always, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Take care and bye.